Do you have really big hopes and dreams for your business? Maybe you just feel it in your heart. It literally lights you up to think about your business and the impact and the income that you get to make. But your logical mind kicks in and tries to ask you, but how are we going to do this? And you end up choking to death the dream with so much logic and worry about the how, instead of doing what you can and then releasing and surrendering to God, source, the universe, and it just slows you down. It's literally kind of like when you are scratching your nails on the chalkboard, like, because you're just like slowing everything down where it's like scraping the concrete. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too graphic, but if you know that part of you just needs to surrender into the allowing the universe, God, source to help you and just really leaning into self-trust, but you're like, I don't even know how to do that right now. I am in this storm and all I can think about is wanting to reach my goal, but all I see is the problem. Then this is the episode for you, because we're going to be talking about 11 ways to surrender and lean in to trust. So keep on listening. Hey you, your next level of expansion is here. And you're not going to accomplish it through hustle and grind. Oh no, not you. You allow ease and flow to come through you so that you can manifest the business of your dreams. Welcome to the Aligned Businesswoman podcast, where you get to be in flow and allow your strategic CEO to meet your inner goddess. This is the podcast for female entrepreneurs who want to strengthen their intuition muscle while applying simple and practical business growth strategies to accelerate it. We'll combine energetics and strategy along with human design and your gene keys to optimize your business performance and results. Hey there, welcome back to another episode of the Aligned Businesswoman podcast. Vanessa here. Oh my gosh, before we dive into today's podcast episode, I have to share a life update. I don't even know if it's an update, but share a story about what happened to us last week. It was so freaking scary. So last Thursday was my little sister's birthday. She lives in the Richmond area and we live across town in Houston, and we were meeting in town to meet at a restaurant. When we discussed meeting up and the logistics and the time, the location of it all, earlier that day, she had mentioned that it was going to rain. Well, her husband looked it up and it was like, oh, the rain's going to come a little bit later in the evening or in the night. So we thought, okay, maybe we'll catch some rain on the way home. Whoa. Well, little did we know that a destructive tornado was coming through, and we are exiting 45 off right coming through downtown onto I-10 going west, and it's just something was like pull over. So before we were driving downtown, it's like all of a sudden it went from daylight to dark, and we could see all this debris flying everywhere, hitting the car. It looked like hail hitting the car, and it was really scary. The trees were just swaying so much that they were, coming from the sides of the freeway and like hitting the side of the car. Well, I was like, okay, well, I need to get off this freeway somehow. Well, when I turned onto I-10, people were starting to slow down and it just looked really dark. And I told my daughter, who was in the back seat with my son, Oliver, I was like, Allie, pull out your phone and see if there's a tornado nearby. I ended up pulling over on the far right lane of the freeway. And I literally was like, I don't even care if people get mad that I'm pulling over. A couple of people started pulling over. And luckily I did, because the tornado passed right through in front of us. Now, when people ask me like, oh my gosh, did you see the twirling? I had to say this. It's like, no, when you're in that storm, you can't see from the storm. When you're in it, you can't see it. It was the scariest shit. Like, you can't see the twirling around. You could just see the stuff twirling inside or blowing around. And we were scared because, we're like, no one's going. There was like a huge gap. In fact, we didn't see anyone for miles because everyone had stopped, allowing for the tornado to come through in that area. Well, finally, and we were like right underneath the bridge. So that was like, I hope that was, I was thinking at that time, I was like, I hope this is the best place to be. I don't know. The whole time I was thinking, I think we're going to die. Like, I'm here with my kids. My husband's out of town. I don't know if we're going to make it through here. And I kept thinking about the Wizard of Oz. I was like, oh my gosh, the tornado is going to come sweep up our car and throw it away, which was ridiculous because if it would have done that, it would have done it with other cars around us. Like, we were like gridlocked on the freeway. Luckily, it died down. You could tell that it calmed down and then people started going. Some people stayed there and we just took off. And as we were on the feeder trying to get back, there was trees, like big trees in the streets. There was like a metal roof and in the middle of the street. So I'm like driving around it. And I was going around the freeway because it was really packed. So I was going like a back road. And the back road, which is like Houston Avenue, near a courthouse, it like dips down underneath, I guess it's like Allen Parkway. And if you know Houston, then you probably know what I'm talking about. It dips down. And the other way, you can, instead of going down, you would actually have to go to the light to the right and then, kind of like go, it kind of slows you down. But anyways, so the part underneath the bridge dips down so you can avoid the light. Well, I saw people coming through that area. So I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's okay. Maybe the water's not high. Nope. I plunged into some water. I was like, oh my gosh, we're about to drown here. You could almost feel like the car getting lifted up. So I was like, no. I kept driving. Luckily, the length wasn't too bad. I was able to drive out of the water without messing up my car. We looked for a place just to eat dinner and wait for everything to blow through. It was the scariest thing. I literally didn't think I would be here today. And so with that being said, I feel like this is another yet experience where I've like a near-death experience for me. I'm like, no, this is God's way of saying like, you have a purpose. You're not done yet. You have an impact to make and you have lives to change. So here we are. We're going to be changing some lives today with this episode. All right. If you're in the Houston area, I would love to know, connect with me, let me know how you're doing because I know that there was a lot of damage, lights out or electricity out for people. I'm just hoping and praying that everyone is okay. Now let's dive into today's episode, maybe change up the energy a little bit. And I'm going to do it with a way that I read to Oliver at night. So Oliver and I listen to Storytime with Philip and Mommy, and she always has a way where she starts off reading the books. So I do that with Oliver now, and I'm going to do that with you. And she starts off with, okay, my friends. So, okay, my friends, let's start with this episode about 11 ways to surrender and lean into self-trust. I'm going to admit, when I started really diving deep into personal development and I would hear just surrender, lean back, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, I don't understand. Give me an example. Like, what does that look like? And now that I know what it looks like, I can easily identify when I am holding on to things. Maybe I'm grasping control. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, like choking to death a project, a task, or a dream because I'm not willing to surrender and let go. So let's talk about what does it mean to surrender and lean into self-trust. When it comes to surrendering in your business, it means letting go of the need to control every single detail and outcome. It's about releasing the tight grip we often have on our business operations and trusting that things will unfold naturally as they should. Now, this doesn't mean being passive or giving up. Instead, it's about embracing flexibility, being open to new possibilities, and trusting in your abilities and decisions. Leaning into self-trust involves believing in your intuition, skills, and knowledge. It's about having confidence in your ability to navigate challenges and make decisions that are in the best interest of your business. Self-trust means listening to your inner voice and allowing it to guide you rather than constantly seeking external validation or approval. In the Profitable CEO Accelerator, I'm all about strategic and intuitive planning. It's a blend of listening to your intuition, but then also checking in with the logic. One doesn't rule over the other. But in order for people to be able to lean into that intuition and trust their intuition, they have to trust themselves that they're going to make the right decisions. Let's talk about 5 reasons why self-trust is crucial for women entrepreneurs like yourself. The first is decision-making. Self-trust sharpens your decision-making skills. When you trust yourself, you make quicker, more confident decisions without second-guessing or analyzing every option. This is crucial in the fast-paced world of entrepreneurship when timely decisions can make or break opportunities. It doesn't mean that you rush into decisions. It just means that you can think a lot more clearly because you are guided by both logic, confidence, and your intuition and self-trust. Next, resilience. Building self-trust makes you more resilient. Entrepreneurship is filled with ups and downs, and I know that you probably experienced some in your journey. Trusting yourself helps you bounce back from setbacks, learn from failures, and keep moving forward with confidence. Next, self-trust empowers you to take risks and pursue your goals without fear of failure. It encourages you to step out of your comfort zone, be innovative, and grow your business in a way you might not have thought possible if you're constantly doubting yourself. Number 4, self-trust enhances your authenticity. When you trust yourself, you are more likely to stay true to your values and vision. This authenticity is what's going to resonate with your prospects and your audience. So leaning into that self-trust and having conviction that you are who you are and people are just going to accept you as you are, and the people that don't, that maybe you repel, are not meant to be in your world. I know there's a woman in particular that is an acquaintance, I guess. She is part of an extension of people that I know, and I know she doesn't like me. And I'm okay with that because I realize that repelling her with just being who I am and how I do my business is actually going to save me so much time, stress, grief, and even money than trying to put myself in her box, like in the way she wants me to, or how she wants me to sound, speak, write, all the things. Like, I can't do that to myself. I cannot limit myself. So the same thing for you when you are fully in your authenticity. You're not limiting yourself based off of someone's expectations of you. Number 5, about why self-trust is crucial for women entrepreneurs. And this is a really big one. Stress reduction. Constantly doubting yourself and trying to control every outcome is exhausting and freaking stressful. Self-trust allows you to let go of some of that stress, knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. This leads to a healthier, more balanced approach to running your business. We say in neurolinguistic programming that there is no such thing as failure, only feedback. And when you can allow to release control and take risk, you'll know that you're not going to fail. You're just going to get a lesson on how to improve your processes. I want this to really hit home for you before I dive into the 11 ways to surrender. I want to give you examples of real life women entrepreneurs that have been able to surrender, lean into self-trust, and have faith that things are going to work out for the best. And the first person is Sarah Blakely. She is the founder of Spanx. Sheryl Sandberg, the former COO of Facebook, has spoken about the importance of resilience in finding meaning in her work, which can be seen as a form of trusting in a higher purpose. If you haven't downloaded my free meditation, Infinite Awareness, I highly recommend that you do. It helps you to calm your nervous system and calm your mind so you can access higher levels of consciousness, all of the wisdom that your higher self has waiting for you. You can check it out in the show notes. So now let's move on to the next woman entrepreneur, which is Arianna Huffington. She has spoken about the importance of listening to your intuition and your inner voice, which can be seen as a form of trusting in a higher guidance, just like Sheryl Sandberg. Are you seeing a theme yet? Even the late actress Katharine Hepburn, she has been known for her strong will and independent spirit. She's spoken about the importance of faith and believing in oneself. Lastly, Jessica Alba. She is the creator and founder of The Honest Company. She has spoken about the importance of following your intuition and trusting your gut feeling. This can be seen as a form of trusting in a higher guidance. So I highly recommend, again, going to download the Infinite Awareness Meditation. It's going to help you practice listening to your intuition and invite it during big business decisions. Now let's talk about the 11 ways to surrender and lean into self-trust. Number 1 is set intentions. You can do a daily intention setting practice. Write down your intentions each morning. You can even go as far as aligning business goals with your personal values during this intention setting practice. The way that you know that this is working, well, first, you want to do this consistently, at least for as long as possible, daily for the rest of your life if you can. But even if you tried it for a week, 3 weeks, 30 days, 90 days. But the indicator that this is working, that you are fully surrendering and leaning into your self-trust, is that you're going to feel a sense of purpose and direction in your daily activities. The second way to surrender and lean into self-trust is practice gratitude. Gratitude journaling is my favorite because I get to give thanks for the littlest things. I say quote unquote littlest things because you get to decide if they're really little to you or big. And just listing 3 things you're grateful for each day really gets your day off to a great start. So you can appreciate past accomplishments and even your current resources. So you can thank God, source, the universe for what you currently have available to you, even the opportunities. The indicator that this practice is helping you lean into self-trust is that you're going to have an increase of positivity and an abundance mindset. Next, take inspired action. Act on one inspired idea each week without overthinking it. Don't get stuck in your head. Don't overanalyze. Just go for it and trust. So an example might be launching a new project or contacting a potential client that you've been wanting to work with. Just test it out, see what happens. You're just going to learn a lesson no matter what. The indicator that you are leaning into self-trust through inspired action is that you're going to be feeling more motivated and seeing progress in your business goals. Now, who doesn't want to make progress in their goals? Number 4, embrace challenges. You can reframe setbacks as growth opportunities, as you've heard me mention throughout the podcast. Reflect on what you've learned. What can you improve? What can you do differently? An example is facing a business setback and then finding a creative solution. Just like I mentioned, like you look at it and like, oh, well, I could have done this differently. I could have done this better. Instead of getting down on yourself and then telling yourself, see, this is why XYZ or whatever past limiting or outdated beliefs would come up if you were to quote unquote make a mistake, which again, there's no mistakes. They're just all learning lessons. An indicator that you're doing well with leaning into self-trust and surrendering is that you're going to have a reduced fear of failure and greater resilience. Next, and this is obvious, release control. Delegate one task each week to someone else. You can either hire a virtual assistant to handle administrative work or maybe even someone temporary to help you out, maybe by a task or project based. And what you will discover is that if they don't do it how you like it, then you're going to develop your communication skills to be more clear for the next time. It is an exercise to practice delegating and fine-tuning your communication style so that every time that you delegate, it improves and improves and you just allow yourself to delegate more. An indicator that you're really leaning into this practice of releasing control is that you're going to have more time and energy to focus on strategic aspects of your business. This reminds me of a time when I was doing some work for my father. He had me go and hire contractors and do all these things because he couldn't do them. And so he delegated to me, and then he micromanaged. And then he judged, like, oh no, you paid too much for that contractor. You did all this. And when I told my husband about it, he's like, man, he really does step over $100 bills to save dimes, to save pennies. And that is what we do when we are too afraid to delegate. We do the $10 an hour job when we could be focusing on the bigger things that require the CEO in us to execute, because we're too afraid to either spend the money to delegate or the outcome or the result that we're going to get when we delegate. And we're just wasting so much time, stress, energy. It's just not helping us achieve our goals faster. Number 6, practice daily prayer or meditation. You can spend just 10 minutes a day in quietness, meditating or praying. You can use apps like Headspace or Calm for guided sessions. And the indicator that this is really helping you is that you're going to have an enhanced intuition and inner peace. This helps you have a calm mind for more clarity too, which is going to have a significant impact on your decision-making skills in business. Number 7, visualize success. Create a vision board or spend 5 minutes a day visualizing your goals each day. Picturing yourself achieving a major business milestone helps your subconscious mind really buy into that picture, because it doesn't know the difference between what is real, imagined, or remembered. So just play around with that energy of imagination and daydreaming and visualization. An indicator that this is working for you is that you're going to have increased motivation and clarity on your business goals. Next, celebrate milestones. When you acknowledge and reward yourself for reaching small milestones, you are confirming that you have the savviness, the wisdom to make great decisions for your business. You can treat yourself after signing a new client, or maybe you have achieved a certain income or impact. Just celebrate you and your ability to take action and to make wise decisions. An indicator that this is working for you is that you're going to have higher morale and just motivation. You're going to feel good. You're going to have confidence and conviction. You're going to be a bad mama jama. The next exercise is to join a faith-based group or mastermind of like-minded women. Join people that are highly motivated, that focus on faith and even positivity and what is possible rather than lack or what isn't possible. You can attend weekly meetups or online forums, or you can join the Profitable CEO Accelerator. An indicator that this is working for you is that you're going to feel supported and you're going to be inspired. You're going to have a sense of community. You're probably going to do things a lot quicker and a lot more efficient because you're going to get inspired by your community that either can share notes with you or give you ideas. You just really have a sense of community and a feeling that you belong and that you're supported so you could do anything. Next, give back. When you volunteer your time or donate a portion of your profits, it just feels good. It shows your subconscious mind that you are doing the things to get the results to have an overflow that you can give back. So mentoring a buddy is also another way to give back, or supporting a local charity. You don't have to always give money, but you can give your time, even if it's like 30 minutes or, an hour for lunch once a month. There's so many ways to give back. And this is going to give you a sense of fulfillment and connection to a larger purpose. And lastly, maintain a positive mindset. You can practice exercises like affirmations and practicing self-talk. You want to replace negative thoughts with more positive ones. So you can say things like, I'm capable and successful. All the decisions I make are savvy and wise. Whatever it is that you're feeling, maybe some lack within, or just feeling something that is negative, ask yourself, well, what is the opposite of this? and then create an affirmation out of that. You get to focus on the positive of the negative that you're feeling so that you can get out of that negative and into the positive. An indicator that this is working for you is that you're going to have an increased confidence and a positive outlook on challenges that come your way. All right, my love, that is all I have for you today. So if you were ever thinking, what can I do to lean into self-trust? How can I surrender more? These are 11 ways that you can do that. So I invite you to share your aha moments, your takeaways, or even your experience as you take action on these 11 ways. Share on social media and tag me. You can either tag Vanessa Ann Miller on Instagram, or you can tag the Aligned Businesswoman Instagram, which is Aligned Businesswoman. And if you're in the Facebook group, share it in the Facebook group. All right, my love, I'll catch you next week on the next episode of the Aligned Businesswoman. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Aligned Businesswoman podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Ann Miller, and I'm so excited to share some goodies with you. Head over to the show notes so you can grab your free gift and make sure to leave a review and join me inside the Aligned Businesswoman Facebook group. Until next week, bye-bye, my love.